everyone. So I wanted to do a quick update and a small rant. So quick update, I'm way too busy to edit a video this week. There's a lot going on. The new person I'm training has been kind of in and out of work, and it's been pretty darn busy there. A lot of things going on with family and travel and just planning that it has taken up a lot of my time. You guys know I'm pretty much just like you. I work full and a half time, and then try to juggle my YouTube life too. Obviously, the main things on my channel are food, fashion, and fitness has been one of the top for a really long time. One of my internet friends, Dana, is going through a difficult time at the moment. She is being allegedly sued by a company called Alo Yoga for defamation and loss of revenue, an undisclosed amount of revenue. She's a 24-year-old girl, and she teaches retreats and preaches about inclusivity within the yoga community, tries to speak out against the corporatization of yoga and really bring the practice back to what it is, a practice of love and getting to your north, your true center. And she's done so much good within the community. It just breaks my heart that she's being sued by this huge corporation when she's just, you know, an individual influencer. She can't talk a lot about it, and I don't know 100% what happened because she can't talk about it, but just know that it's two men that own Alo Yoga that are suing a 24-year-old girl because she spoke out against something allegedly that she did not agree with, and she stuck by her morals and left a company called Cody, which is an app, when Alo Yoga took over because of what they represent does not align with her brand. She's a plus-size girl, and even though she does go into advanced poses, she's all about accessibility and entering everyone into the yoga world so that they can find strength and love within their bodies. But Alo Yoga is a company that doesn't even sell a pant size over a large, you know? So how you can imagine how that feels, a company making money off of you that doesn't even sell clothes that fit you and doesn't speak the message that you have built your whole career around. And I've heard from so many of you guys that you fell in love with fitness through me. You never thought that you would consider your body athletic. You never thought that you could run marathons. I know some of you guys have signed up for marathons. Some of you guys are avid yoga goers now. Some of you guys have fallen in love with swimming, running, dance, Pilates, whatever it is. So I never ask you guys for anything, but if you've ever benefited from, I'm trying not to like edit this video, I'm trying not to edit this video at all, but it's just kind of upsetting. If you've ever benefited from my message and found your love of fitness or started your wellness journey because of my message is Dana's message. We have the same message, the same goal within the fitness lifestyle. So if you've ever benefited from something I've said, or a body positive video that had a spin of fitness in it from one of the fitness challenges, would you please consider donating to Dana's legal fees? I've been very vocal before about YouTubers and influencers making their own money and not relying on Patreons and things like that, having multiple streams of income, and I still stand by that. But that's for an everyday living. This is unforeseen giant legal fees. If any of you guys have ever been through litigation, you know how incredibly expensive it is to go through something like this, and it's outside of her daily living. This is excessive amounts of money. So if you've ever benefited from my fitness message, it's very much Dana's fitness message. So I will link Dana's GoFundMe down below. Litigation is not slowing down, even though lots of people have spoken out and been very upset that Aloe Yoga is allegedly suing Dana Falsetti. So her name is Nola Trees on Instagram. You've heard me talk about her before. And it kind of hits home because you can imagine it happening to you. Like, I speak out about companies that I don't think are fair, and I can't imagine getting sued for it. And I don't know where the money would come from, and I'm pretty gainfully employed, and I still don't know what I would do. So I just wanted to say that. And I hope that some of you guys will consider sending $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, anything really will help her. And I think if you check out her Instagram, listen to her podcast, you really get a genuine idea of who she is and know that she doesn't deserve what she's going through. I can't imagine how incredibly stressed she is at the moment. She teaches yoga full-time and does retreats and really heals people through fitness and self-love and helping them discover their own capabilities. So that's what I wanted to say today. And even though I don't have a video, I did put up a podcast. They're really easy to record. Sometimes I record them on my lunch break at work. So I want you guys to listen to this week's podcast. So if you're missing me here, know that there is content elsewhere. There's lots of episodes over on Apple Podcasts and iTunes, and they're super fun. There is an email for the podcast as well, Garden of Eden Podcast. If you have a question you need me to answer, or if you are a musician that would like me to share your music, I share new music on the podcast every week that I do it. It's pretty much a bi-weekly podcast. So I just wanted to say that. Like I said, I don't ask you guys for things. I don't have a Patreon. People ask all the time if I have a Patreon where they can help support me. I'm resourceful. I will always be able to support myself. Knock on wood. But if you've ever asked me that or wanted to support me in any way, if you could send some of that support towards Dana. And like I said, this isn't for her to go on vacation or to buy a home or to spend frivolously. This is for a completely out of left field expense that she can't cover as an independent worker. So yeah, I love you guys endlessly, and I hope you enjoy this episode of the podcast. On this episode of the Garden of Eden podcast, we talk about how I can't remember what I had for lunch last week, but somehow all of the lyrics to NSYNC are backlogged in my memory. We talk about flying first class for the very first time. If you'd like to see the Garden of Eden podcast grow, the best way to do so is to share us on Twitter or on Instagram, and to leave us a little review on iTunes or SoundCloud. Let's just go ahead and jump right into this episode. Hello 2 times, and welcome back to the Garden of Eden podcast. My name is Eden, and I am your whore that does not like to do chores. And today I had to do so many chores because our house flooded. And no, that's not a joke. No, I'm not exaggerating. So you guys know our washer had broken a while back, and I got to take my first fun field trip to the laundromat. It was a magical experience, one that I don't think I want to experience again, but magical nonetheless. And we got a new one recently, but there was a problem with like our hookups and all that stuff. So they actually had to replace the whole wall and cut this giant hole in our wall. Like they had to replace the box that goes into the wall. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a washing machine repair woman. I don't know the correct terms, but they came to do that. And then when Sarah's brother came to hook up the hoses, they forgot to put the drainage hose into the proper hole. And she started a large load with blankets, extra rinse, as much water as possible to come out of a laundry machine with the drainage hose on the ground. So she left the house. I get up just randomly to get something, probably water, because hydration is key. And there's water. I got more water than I was anticipating. Not water in my cup, but water all over our floor. It flooded our whole hallway, part of Sarah's carpet. It went all the way into our lower living room. If you watch my vlogs, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It like went under the wall in the laundry room, through to the living room, at least 2 inches of water. Man, it was a disaster, but I got it all cleaned up. The floor is drying okay. We're starting to notice a little bit of buckling in the floor, so Sarah's going to have to contact her renter insurance because it's not coming out of my renter's insurance. And we may have to fix that because, you know, we're working class folks. We're leasing this house, so you can imagine the nightmare of like not getting your deposit back because you flooded your entire rental house. But that was my week in a nutshell. Let's get on to some topics. My first topic for today is kind of a random one. And I feel like for some reason I attract people that talk a whole lot. And you guys know I talk a lot, but I think I talk so much on the internet because none of my friends let me get a word in freaking edgewise. They just talk and talk. So I have friends that I feel like they hold these stories in and they're waiting to tell them. So then they can't remember if they've just like constructed the perfect version of the story in their head or if they've actually like told it to me. So a lot of the times they end up telling me the same story and I'm always conflicted. It's like, okay, do I sit here and let them tell this entire story? But recently I've just been saying, you've already told me the story, like in the middle. Because it's literally a waste of time to hear it again. Or should I just be present and let them tell the story? I just feel like, okay, it might be kind of rude to be like, I already heard this story. But it's just, we have a limited amount of time on this world. I could be spending this time driving to get a donut, but I'm listening to you tell the same story I heard last week. So you'll have to let me know in the comments down below. Is it rude to tell someone they've already told you a story? And do you ever do that? I feel like it's rare that I tell someone the same story because usually when I'm talking to someone, it's about what's happening currently. And if something's happened prior, I've usually already told them it or I've tweeted about it, so they've been filled in, so I don't feel the need to backtrack. Since I've been away for a bit, I feel like a good amount of this podcast is going to be updates. So obviously you guys know I'm back in dance class and I'm proud to announce that I finally got dancer's whiplash. Yes, I whipped my hair hard enough that I am now adjacent to Britney Spears. Britney Spears has also gotten dancer's whiplash when you whip your hair too hard. I just did a whip if you couldn't tell if the words didn't whip in the microphone. I'm really disappointed, but I did a nice hair flip to signify my dancer's whiplash. But I've been back to dancing for a few weeks. It's warmer now, so my arthritis has hit the chill button. And I just wanted to talk a second about how I hate the internet because as soon as I mention my hip, things stay pretty mellow on my channel. Like people know I'm fat, but they don't try to make me lose weight all the time or they don't get all crazy in the comments. But the second I mention that I have any kind of adverse human thing, like if I have a cold or like recently my hip has been hurting, all of a sudden the fat police come out. Oh my gosh, if you followed a clean vegan diet, your hip wouldn't hurt. And it's like, bitch, a vegan diet has never, ever cured arthritis. Not now, not in the future. It's not going to happen. Like, even if I'm skinny, I'm still going to have arthritis in my hip because I've had it in my hip since I was 16. Arthritis does not discriminate by weight, and it doesn't discriminate by diet either. So many health professionals in the comments, health professionals, by that I mean they Googled something, have all these opinions on like my joints all of a sudden and what can cure me and how losing weight will make it all better. And it's just like, chill. out. Chill is the word of this podcast, the chill podcast. It's just so annoying that that's like always the reaction. It's like, no matter what's wrong with me, because I'm fat, the answer to my problem is I'm fat. And it's just not true. It makes no sense. And it was short-lived. Like, my hip was hurt for about 6 to 8 weeks. And I say hurt, it's not really hurt. It wasn't an injury. It's arthritis. There's nothing you can really do about it. But I just felt like I had to go on a little mini rant about the freaking internet doctors, Google PhDs. So if you keep up with current events, you know that for a while, packages were blowing up in Austin. I got numerous tweets and Snapchats and everything asking if I was okay. And I have to tell you guys my package scare. So needless to say, they kind of got to the bottom of what was happening with the packages. Unfortunately, there were too many people that lost their lives in Austin, Texas over this whole thing. They think that it was attached to people doing some sketchy things with drugs, but unfortunately, some of the people that opened packages were not the targeted people. So some kids did die, and all of our, I hate saying it, thoughts and prayers go out to their families. But the day after the package scare, they didn't know how long it was going to go on, so they were kind of warning everyone in Austin city limits to keep an eye out for it. So I get home from work and I have 2 packages sitting at my doorstep. But I go in through the garage, so I don't go to the front door to get them. I go inside, close the garage, and then I'll go around to the front to get them. But in between me needing to go get the packages, I had just driven in from work in Austin traffic, so my bladder was on 100%. So I had to go release it ASAP. So I go to the bathroom, I'm peeing, and I hear my doorbell ringing and then someone pounding at my door. So I was like, okay, it must be like Amazon or someone dropping off another package. So there were 2 packages outside. So I'm thinking I'm going to get off the toilet and there are going to be 3 packages. So I go to the door after I get out of the bathroom. No one's there. And it's still just the 2 packages that were there when I got home. There was no 3rd package. I went out to the mailbox to see, maybe it was a small package. Maybe they left it in the mailbox. No one left anything in the mailbox. There was nothing like by the door. So I looked down the street because we live in kind of an older neighborhood, but it's near like a high school. So we get a lot of like AT&T salesmen, a lot of Mormons, a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses. So I was seeing if the people that knocked had moved on to my neighbor's doors. That way I'd know, okay, it's like Jehovah's Witness or something. No one down the street at all, except for like some high schoolers at the very end. And they wouldn't have been able to get to the end of the street by the time I got to the door. So I go back in up to the front door and I'm like, okay, I'll take these 2 packages in. They told everyone in Austin to look and make sure that the packages had your name on them, that they were addressed to you, that it wasn't like a blank box or it wasn't handwritten. So I looked and one of them was from Amazon and the other one was from Thrive Market. But the one from Amazon was slit open, and not like in a way where, okay, they shipped this and the delivery was a little bit rough, so it kind of got tousled around. It was like a clean slice, like someone intentionally opened it. So I'm freaking out, like my heart's pounding. I'm like, oh my gosh, should I even take this inside? I was scared to open. I was like, what if someone like cut it open and slipped something in there? Because, bombs, hello. So I'm like, okay, it's addressed to me. I think it's okay. It wasn't a package thief, because if it was a package thief, why would they knock and ring the doorbell? I feel like they would just steal the package. And I was like, maybe they cut it open and it was something they didn't want. So I go inside and I'm like snipping, just the outsides were attached with tape still. So I was like snipping the outside like from super far away. It was like the most stressful package experience I ever had, but I was safe. Everything was okay. It was just, I'm still kind of weirded out by who was at our freaking door. So if you guys don't, I know I start every segment with so So, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, you didn't see the announcement that I will be in LA from May 15th to May 30th, which is a pretty long time. The first half of my trip is going to be with me and the boy, so I'll be doing like my swimsuit shoots for Swimsuits for All. I might do one for Fashion Nova as well, and then some meetings that I have. I might be going to the PETA office for a meeting. I haven't responded to them. They sent me an email after my big rant about the Young Black and Vegan hashtag and asked if I would be in LA to Skype or either to come by. I haven't responded, but I plan on responding to let them know I'll be in LA. I'm not really sure that I even want to hear what they have to say because I just feel like anything that they're doing, I don't know. I have a lot of feelings about it, you guys know. But I do want to see progress, so that's why I'm on the fence. But anyways, I'm going to be in LA, and for the first time ever, I'm flying first class. And I know that that's like a silly thing, but I want a little bit more space, and I want the good Wi-Fi, and I want to board first, and I want 2 free bags because I'm going to be there for 2 weeks. So I need an extra bag, and I didn't really want to pay the extra bag fee. So I'm flying first class, and I have like this internalized fear after Trisha Paytas tweeted that she was flying and a flight attendant asked her twice if she was in the right seat, and when she said yes, they still made her show her ticket, which is kind of uncalled for because anyone who flies knows that they already first, there's check-in when you get to the airport. So you check in with your airline. They already know where your seat is located. And then when you get to the gate, you kind of check in again, and they have you line up, and they scan your ticket as you're boarding. So they know if you're first class or not. If you're not first class, they're not going to let you board. They're going to tell you to wait until your boarding zone. So it was like kind of uncalled for them to do that just based on how she looks, because she said she was like in super relaxed clothing. You know, she'd been swimming and stuff, so her extensions were a little bit not perfect. And I just get that fear a bit because I'm a black girl. I have box braids, and people like stereotype you. They think you don't make money, or they think that you may not belong there. So I have a little bit of flight anxiety. I know as a fat person, you'd think my flight anxiety would be like that I'd need a seatbelt extender, or that I'd be like encroaching into someone else's space, but it's not. It's like that the airline will judge me and not think that I'm in my rightful place. And I know that's a silly thought, but I think that the thought's justified when Trisha Paytas just tweeted about it like a week ago. But yeah, I am flying first class with American. Because they had like this promotion going on with my credit card where you get like a statement credit or something. So I did that, and I'm going to be there for about 2 weeks. It's the first time the boy has been there, so I'm super excited to take him with me and to show him around Los Angeles. I do plan on moving there eventually, and hopefully he will come visit very frequently. So I want him to be able to get a good feel for LA, because I know a lot of people are super over LA and they don't like it, and they just live there for work, or they moved there and it lost its magic. But it's just never lost its magic for me. It's always been like the most magical place on earth. I love sitting on the beach and be able to see this amazing ocean and then look in the backdrop and see beautiful freaking mountains, and just the vegan options there, the atmosphere. I just really love it. So I'm going to show him around. It's been a while since I've seen him, actually. You guys have noticed in the vlogs, I haven't been able to travel up to Dallas. Oh my gosh, it's 15 minutes into the podcast and I still haven't done any other topics. I'm still talking about my freaking self. So I haven't been able to travel up there, and it's so weird because in the past, I would have like dropped everything for a guy. Not every guy, but a specific guy. And I just would have thrown away the things that I needed to do to be with that person, because I love love. Even though I'm like a super hard ass, super analytical, really strong headed, I have a super big heart for those that I love, especially those like in my family or that I love romantically. I'll do and drop anything for them. But I don't think that that's necessarily like a weakness. I think that as women, we kind of have a tendency to be really generous and passionate, and we're kind of caretakers. So I don't think it's uncommon. I just think it's something that we have to be aware of when we're in relationships, that you have to like keep your goals as top priority and not lose yourself within the relationship. Because like I said, there have been plenty of opportunities for me to go up and see him. He did come down and see me a few weeks ago. But I didn't, because I had to film or I had to edit, and it would have been easy for me to say, oh, I can skip a video this week. But right now, YouTube's so important to me that that's just not something I'm willing to do. So it's nice to see how much I've grown as a person over the past few years over something that I would have done when I was maybe, I don't know, 21. But let's go ahead and get into the new artist of the week. New artist of the week on the Garden of Eden podcast this week is an artist by the name of Raye Lee. She is located in Houston, Texas. Yes, you heard that. She is a rapper located out of Houston, Texas, and this girl is really fire. She is one of the most beautiful girls I have ever seen, so make sure you check her out. I will leave her links to her SoundCloud and her Instagram down below. Her Instagram is Purple City Dame, and she is Raye Lee on SoundCloud. We're going to play one of her new singles, which is called 5 a.m.
Hello. Here's a story. 5 a.m. I took a trip in Uber. As we rolled away, all the pain and mistakes was washed away with the love we made. I should have seen it coming. Oh boy, I should have kept running. I don't regret you. I just wish I never met you. You were my lesson to never take me for granted. All this love I was given was a blessing, and you missed it. I ain't tripping, keep it pimping, keep it moving, cause I had to. This too shall pass. Never online date, cause that shit fade. I didn't hesitate to take a chance with the fella, fell in love with the devil. Took one night only for you to hold me. Took one night only for you to capture me. I guess it's so much so cheap. So ashamed you caught me in my vulnerable state. I'm bare, but here's the naked truth. I don't regret you. I just wish I never met you. You were my lesson to never take me for granted. I'm a diamond, and it ain't that rough to find true love. Don't get blinded by fuck niggas and loves. I keep it moving cause I have to. This too shall pass. That was a good one. Oh boy, you play me like some drums. I should've seen it coming. Oh boy, I should've kept running. I don't regret you. I just wish I never met you. You were my lesson. Oh, to never take me for granted. I'm a diamond, and it ain't that rough to find true love. I should've seen it coming. Oh boy, I should've kept running. I don't regret you. I just wish I never met you. I should've seen it coming. Oh, I should've kept running.
If you are an up-and-coming artist, or if you have friends that have music and you'd like me to share it, make sure that you send over an email with your relevant handles as well as an MP3 file of the song you would like me to share. You can also send over questions, and the email you can send it to is gardenofedynpodcast@gmail.com, and that's EDYN. So gardenofedynpodcast@gmail.com if you have music of your own that you would like featured on the podcast. I feel like 2018 has been the year of reunions and reunion letdowns. The Spice Girls were supposed to get back together for a tour, and I was so excited that Victoria Beckham agreed because we all know my car is named after her. But, of course, in classic posh style, she pulled out. Ew, that sounded really dirty. Sorry, guys. If you have kids, cover their ears. Or hopefully they don't know what pulled out means. Don't ask your mom what pulled out means, kids. I'm sorry. Auntie Edyn didn't mean to say it. So, they are not going on tour. Maybe that means they're going to do some kind of residency or a couple of one-time shows in LA that everyone can go and see, or in London. I don't know what that means, or if that means they're not reuniting at all. But speaking of reunions, I recently rewatched Laguna Beach, all of it from start to finish. And I absolutely love Laguna Beach. It had, that Hilary Duff song, let's go back to the beginning, back to when the moon, the stars, the clouds are there. That one, that vibe. It's exactly that vibe. I can actually sing that song. I just felt like we needed the techno version for the podcast, But they were talking about doing a Hills reunion, which I liked the Hills up until Lauren Conrad left. Once Lauren left, I did not care about the Hills. No one wants to see the Hills without Lauren, right? I hope that we're all a united front in this area. Otherwise, I don't even know who you guys are anymore. So they've been talking about doing a Hills reunion, but I guess the thing that was holding them up was Lo didn't want to sign on, which it's so odd because, okay, I guess the very last season, Lo was a main character, Lo Bosworth, she was friends with Lauren in Laguna Beach. She wasn't on the first few seasons of The Hills, but she came in towards the last 2 seasons, and she did stick around the last season after Lauren left. Her name is also Lauren, but she goes by Lo. So I thought it was really weird that would be the thing that was holding them up, because it seems like as long as Heidi and Kristen Cavallari were there, then they would just be like, okay, we're going to do it. We all know that Brody Jenner will do anything for money, so obviously he's going to be there. Spencer and Heidi will do anything for money, so obviously they're going to be there. But I guess Kristen's getting her own show on E!, so she wasn't going to do it, and then Lo Bosworth wasn't going to do it, and obviously Lauren Conrad's not going to do it because she doesn't like any of those people, which is why she left in the first place, right? And then they were saying that Lauren would be interested in doing a Laguna Beach reunion, what do they call it when they do it again? How the Gilmore Girls came back? A revival? Yes. A Laguna Beach revival, because those are all people that she likes and stuff, those were her tribe. She was happy in Laguna. She went to LA, and then all the time black mascara tears, right? So how awesome would that be to have a Laguna Beach reunion? But then I started thinking, would it just be like Laguna Beach when Lauren was there, or would it be Laguna Beach after Lauren left when Kristen was the lead? Because back then they had Rocky, that girl Raquel that went by Rocky, that was one of the main characters as well. And then they also had that girl Cammie, which was the only black girl that was ever on Laguna Beach or the Hills. And I remember that vividly because Laguna Beach was everything that you want it to be in high school, right? You're like, I want to be just like them. I want to go to a high school and longboard down a hill and meet my crush at the beach. And then we're going to kiss and we're going to have a blanket around us. We're going to drive our Mercedes, but they're all white. Until Cammie came. She's just this black girl with kind of a busted weave, but you know what? You're at the beach. You can't keep your weave together all of the time. That's why I wear braids. I know the struggle with these giant boobs. Plus, you're in high school. Weave is expensive, and if you don't have a job, it's a real struggle. But I really liked her too. So if there was a remake, would the Laguna Beach second class be there too? Or just the first class of Laguna Beach? Would Stephen Colletti come back? Is Stephen Colletti married now? Which it doesn't matter. We can't ship Elsie and Stephen Colletti because Lauren has a baby. They're all grown up now. It's so different. You related with these characters for so long. You grew up with them, but now that they're grown up, I feel like the dynamic's so different. Is it still entertaining? I'm not sure. I have mixed feelings on how stoked I would be. But I was really excited for Gilmore Girls revival. So I feel like if Laguna Beach Revival came back, I'd be excited. Now I feel like I want to watch Laguna Beach all over again, which I might watch The Hills all over again because I stopped watching when Lauren left. But I started watching again when Lo Bosworth kind of decided to be a lead. So I missed like a season in between, and like Audrina Patridge was on there as well. How do I remember all of the names of all of these people? But I literally cannot remember what I had for lunch. All right, guys, I know that this was kind of a random podcast, but I did want to jump on the microphone and tell you guys hello and that I'm not giving up on the podcast in any way. I just had a few weeks that were extremely busy, but I'm back. Maybe it'll be bi-weekly for a little bit. My ideal would be a weekly podcast, but with my workload, I'm not sure that that's possible. So right now, it's just when inspiration strikes. I try not to go more than a month without a podcast because I do pay for the premium membership on SoundCloud. So I do need to at least utilize it so that my money isn't going to waste. But I hope that you guys enjoyed. Make sure you keep sending your music my way. I'm so impressed by you guys sending so much music. There hasn't been a week as of yet that I haven't had new music to share. And music is my love. I've been in the music business for a really long time. I've done radio and I've always loved radio, and the podcast is like my own little chunk of radio since I am not currently working for a station. So I love discovering new artists, and like I said, not every song that I share is going to be everyone's cup of tea, but you never know who's listening and who might love that artist and, you know, champion for them. So any questions that you have as well that maybe I haven't gotten around to answering in video comments, shoot them over to the podcast email. I'll do my best to answer them on here. You guys know how I feel about seeking advice from people that aren't professionals, but as long as it's lighthearted, something that's not going to make or break your life, I'm happy to answer it. But until next time, I want to thank you guys so much for listening. If you love the podcast, like we say at the beginning of every single show, the best way to help us grow is to share it, tweet it out. Even if you only have a few followers, every listen really does help. Review us on iTunes. All you have to do is go into your account, your Apple account, and write a little review. The reviews really do help. Even if you don't want to write a review, just give us 5 stars. That is really helpful to helping the podcast grow. You can find me at Edyn Jacks pretty much everywhere on the frickin' internet, which is amazing because I love connecting with you guys. But until next time, I want you to remember to keep an open mind, to keep an open heart, practice unconditional compassion, but don't take shit from frickin' anyone. I love you guys endlessly, and I hope you love yourselves even more. I will talk to you guys really soon. Bye.